in general, good men are steady and consistent and predictable. It's why as women, we think you're boring. As women in general, we like chaos and drama and disruption of routine. That's what makes us feel alive and engaged in life because we want to do what we want to do. Structure holds us accountable and we don't want accountability. So we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it and thrive on that instability because, again, it makes us feel engaged and alive. Ergo, why we are attracted to bad boys because they're chaotic and we think that's exciting.
At ease, man. Brothers, let's have a real conversation today, man. Let's have a conversation, man, that's going to require you to get outside of your feelings, man. What I want to talk about today, brothers, is as men, we have to understand something. We have to understand that 9 out of every 10 women are cheating. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back, man. 9 out of every 10 women are cheating. What do you mean, soul? First, let me say it like this. Let me change it up a little bit. I want to say it a little different because I don't want to make it seem like it's just ultimate chaos, even though it is. I'll say it like this. If you put 10 women in a room and these 10 women are in a relationship that has at least been 6 months long, right? I'll say it like that. 9 of those women either have cheated in their relationship, are currently cheating in that relationship, or have their eyes on a guy that can get it. 9 out of 10. And I know you're saying, soul, like that's a hard number, bro. What are your sources? Life? Intuition? Like a part of me have known this for a long time, man. But I'll say it like this. I've been on all ends of the spectrum, man. I've been a married man. I've been a man that was single and had conversations with married women. I've been in my F-boy season. I've been in my good boy season. I've been in my blue pill season. I've been in my red pill season. And a few other seasons, man. I've dated women or I've been with women that are in relationships. I've been in relationships and that woman was with a different man. So I've seen all, I'm coming at you from 360 degrees, man, of observation. And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 women, man, are cheating on in their situation. But why is this? Why are they doing this, soul? Or are they just, well, let me say it like this first, man. If we're going to have this conversation, let's temporarily, separate ourselves from calling women hoes. Let's separate ourselves from the Jezebel spirit. And let's just talk about, the nature of human beings. The reason they do it, man, is because you got to understand that female nature is not compatible with commitment. Female nature in itself is not compatible with commitment. And I'm gonna tell you this, I knew this a long time ago. Man. I can remember, I think I was hiking in the Grand Canyon, man. And I believe I was slightly elevated, brothers. And I remember having this thought. And I said, something just don't make sense, man. I said, what doesn't make sense to me? And I remember I came home and made a video about it. I'll try to leave a link if I can find it, man. I was talking about how marriage doesn't make sense. I said, there's something about marriage that just doesn't make sense to me, man. And I said that because I said, when you think about all the things that attract women on the rawest of their nature, right? In the rawest form, I said those things are the exact opposite of what a man has to be when he enters into a committed relationship or enters into a marriage. Like when you think about a woman loves a man that kind of just has like a rebel spirit about himself. He has this independent mindset and spirit about himself. He has this this forward thinking direction of almost a selfishness, almost like a screw what the world is thinking. It's just me, my thoughts, and my journey. Like those traits, amongst a few others, man, drive women crazy. When you move in that energy, brother, there's no more shooting of the shots. Women are coming at you. And some of y'all know this, but you got to understand, and this is what I was thinking back then. I want to say 2017. I said, but when a man turns around and gets in a committed relationship and puts a ring on it, he has to be a different person. And I said, in my opinion, that's why a lot of relationships fail after commitment, because it just doesn't make sense. Again, when you think of all the things that attract a woman, it almost goes completely against what a man is or what a man was, right? And knowing that is really what makes it easy for men that are single to be that sneaky link, to be that side guy. Because if you have some understanding and you have a woman in that situation, that's why I say, man, like married women, committed women are the low hanging fruit. Like when you start to understand how things work, you understand that a woman in a committed relationship is easily bored. Because it's against her nature. It's against that chaotic nature. And what I mean by that is, like, you gotta understand, like, as a man, like when as a man, our goal is to eventually at some point walk in our singular truth, walk in that zero frequency. When a man is walking in that zero frequency, we can call it true masculinity. That's when he's the most attractive. And a lot of women are attracted to that. But you got to understand, if a woman is still simply in her feminine nature and hasn't evolved, then she's only going to be attracted to half that man. But see, I don't believe a lot of women understand that. Like when a lot of women get with guys, I think in a lot of women's mind, when they get with the guy, if they know they haven't evolved, they think it's going to be forever because there's a level of bliss to it. But I think that the far majority of why a lot of women are drawn to that is because of safety. It's safety. Like a lot of a woman's hypergamous energy is requiring safety. So a lot of women are drawn to men for safety. So that's why we have lots of marriages, lots of committed relationships. But at the same time, and I made a video about this maybe a month or so ago, where I said a woman wants a man she can sleep with or something like that, she can be freaky with or whatever, or a man. I say something like the man that she'll marry and the man that she sleep with is two different people. Or the man that she marries and the man that she craves on the highest of levels are two different people. Because if she hasn't done a certain thing internally, they can't be the same man. They can't be the same man. And again, I was speaking about this, man, on a video some weeks ago, man, or that video I spoke about a long time ago. And again, if a man understands this, it's too easy to go through and knock down the married women, the women that have been in these long relationships, right? Let me say this, man. You got to understand this. I'll make content sometimes where I'm talking about, like, I'll be talking about the power of a woman. Like I'm saying, hey, brothers, you know what, man? You take your energy and your thought and your essence and, you put your essence and sexual energy into a woman and your ideas into a woman. Like she can actually flip that. She can put that in her incubator, man, and grow that thing and produce something just like she can with a baby in the physical. She can do the exact same thing with your ideas and all this stuff in the spiritual world. Or I talk about different elements of the power of feminine energy. You got to understand this, brothers. And I should have said this a long time ago. When I'm having those type conversations, I'm only speaking about a fraction of the population. Like I'm only speaking to the 1% of the population when I'm having that type of conversation. Like that's almost unicorn talk, but it's real talk. Like when you talk about the true power of a man and woman coming together, bro, it's the most powerful thing that can take place on this planet, but it's rarely seen. Just because two people walk down the aisle, just because two people are in a relationship, just because two people are on the gram in the book and they kissing and they're on vacation, they don't mean they doing it right. Because I'm gonna tell you, most of the people you see on the gram in the book, most of these women that are booed up with their husbands, most of these women that are booed up with their guy, bro, they creeping. And I can say that because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I saw this. There's this clip, man, Instagram, and it's a guy. It's like a 3 or 4 second clip, and the guy said something like you want to know the reason why I don't get into relationships or something like that. Then he says because I've been on the other end where I've entertained women that are in relationships or something like that. And bro, if you really want to see the rawest form of a woman. Like a woman will be laying on your chest. A woman will be under the covers with you. A woman will be butt naked in your presence and on the phone with her guy saying she with the girls. A lot of y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. A lot of y'all brothers know that. I'm going to tell you this, man. Like there was a season in my life, man. I was like in a solitude. I was like in monk mode. I was just like focused on whatever I was doing. Man, I had so many women, married women, approaching me at that time. It was crazy. I believe that's when I made that video, that married women are the low-hanging fruit. It's insane, man, how much married women are craving something outside. It's insane. But you got to understand, man, let's not even call them bad women or good women. It's just that these women are responding to their female nature. They're only living in their feminine nature. And I'll say this, I'll go an extra step to say this. Even a man that's only living in his masculine energy, commitment is the furthest thing from him. And a lot of us men getting married, a lot of us men getting committed relationships, and we step out. And to me, man, that's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me when I see a man that can be single and have access to a plethora, but he would choose to get married and then got to check his phone and turn his phone over and delete texts. It's like, why would a man put himself through that? Like, that makes no sense to me, right? But men do it. But both sides do it because of a certain thing, man. And I'll talk about that in a second. But you got to understand, when I'm talking about the power of relationships, I'm talking about a fraction of a fraction, bro. I'll say this. The woman that I'm talking about, this 1% woman, you will come across one of these women in your life. You may come across 2. Think about all the women you've dated. Before you die, you will come across one. I believe the good Lord is going to bless you with one of them. You may, if you're moving in a high frequency, you may come across 2. That's how rare they are. Most of the women you see on social media aren't that. By far aren't that. Right? But I'm going to tell you this, man. I want to tell you this. There's a way you can find out if she's that or not. And unfortunately, I found out the hardest of ways, right? But there's a way you can find out, right? Again, man, it was probably, this might have been a year and a half ago. Again, I was doing some hiking, but I was doing some hiking here in Dallas, man. And for some reason, when I'm out hiking, man, it's like I connect with Source. And Source was showing me something. He was showing me, and y'all brothers heard me, so I started talking about this about a year and a half ago. He showed me like what I call the face of God, or what I now can call balance, right? Like you got to understand that balance is what the face of God is. And I'll tell you this, there are a lot of people that think they've seen God or know God. I don't care if they go into church and preaching for. Very few people have really experienced this, because once you experience that balance, which what I'm talking about is when I talk about the first marriage of man, right? The picture. That's really what I'm talking about as far as finding that balance. Once you find that balance, you can see that balance in everything, right? Anyway, long story short, what Source told me was this balance that you see is the balance that needs to be applied to the woman. Like applying that balance to a woman, it's like a code. That's why I made. If y'all seen a code to her chemistry, that's why I made that. Like when you see that balance and you apply that balance into a woman, it unlocks those chambers that gives her that allows her powers to connect with yours. But what the reason I say a way you can check it is because the person that I happened to be with at the time I discovered this, I applied it and something crazy happened, right? There's a Bible verse, and I'm not sure where it is, where it says you can't put new wine into old wine skins, because if you do, it's gonna bust. It can't take it. So when I discovered this, man, when I discovered this balance and I discovered this key, because again, it's about, like when I say that a woman can't, when I say that one man can't satisfy the need of a woman that's strictly operating off of feminine nature. You can't do it. So anyway, when I apply this face of God to my relationship, it crumbled overnight. Because you got to understand, if a woman hasn't found that balance within herself, she'll crumble. Like it's actually too much to handle, because it alters her chaotic state so much. Right? I'll leave a link. Anybody want to check out that Code to Her Chemistry, man? It was eye-opening, bro. It's the way that you can activate or destroy a woman if she's not in that 1% energy, right? But you got to understand this, right? Because I don't want to lose track of what I'm saying. You got to understand why people cheat. Women cheat. Men cheat. Why is it that feminine energy why is it that feminine energy, man, is not compatible with commitment, right? Again, it goes back to, and it's weird, I didn't know I was having this conversation long ago, man. I was just talking about it from a different angle and talking about a different thing, but it's all the same thing. You got to understand this. Like when I talk about the first marriage of man, which both men and women, conduct, right? I said that until a man conducts the first marriage of man, he's never going to be fulfilled. So until a woman actually finds that spiritual side of herself, she's never going to be fulfilled. It's impossible, right? So when you see a lot of people that are excessive drinking, excessive drugs, excessive social media, that they just can't scratch that itch, like you got to understand that our default setting is to get that vice scratched out of sex. So again, if a woman hasn't composed that first marriage within herself, she can never be faithful. It's not even associated with her nature. Like until that thing gets fulfilled, like a relationship can't be healthy. And again, that goes back to men and women, right? And I'll say this. When I won't say discovered this, but when I tapped into this, like when I started moving a certain way, when I married myself, automatically, man, the desire for multiple women was gone, to the point where I felt like something was wrong with me. Because again, it's in our nature. Hell, even if we're in a committed relationship, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm not like this now. I mean, I can see a beautiful woman and be like, dang, she thick, she fine. She right in all the right places. But as far as the desire to move on that or to pursue that, completely gone. If I'm in a situationship, if I'm in a relationship, it's completely gone. And for the longest, I didn't understand why. Or I thought that it was kind of weird. I was watching, if y'all haven't seen that interview with Jeezy and Nia Long, right? It's a good interview, man. There was a connection between them two. I just saw it a few days ago, right? But toward the end, Jeezy was speaking on this, man. I'm sitting there watching it, man. I believe I was dozing off, and I heard that brother say something, and I woke up. And he was talking about this. He was like, nah, man, I understand. Like, I used to move a certain way. I used to be in the streets. I used to have all these women. But in other words, he was talking about the way he is now. He was like, that's not even an option. Like cheating, it isn't even an option. And I'm gonna tell you what he was really meaning. In a singular truth, shameless plug if you haven't got the book. In a singular truth, I said mankind can't even come close to understanding the power of a relationship, or even what a relationship between a man and a woman is, if he doesn't understand the first marriage of man, which is the marriage within himself. So when you hear a man say something like that, or a woman talk about like cheating, and it's like, no, It's not that they don't desire big booties or desire 6'12" men. Yeah, they have the same desires, but there's an understanding that comes with that first marriage of man. You fully understand the repercussion of stepping outside of that. In other words, if I have a singular truth, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is what my truth is. I understand that the moment I step outside of that truth, my whole world is destroyed. It's destroyed. And the fact that I know that within myself, now I understand that on the next level up, if a woman is in her truth and we're both in the same truth, she's aligned with me, I understand now that if one of us alters, that whole world that we built is destroyed. So it's not about sexual desires, it's about understanding. So all I'm saying is, when I say that women will be cheating, when I say that 9 out of 10 women will be cheating, it's because 9 out of 10 women don't know themselves. It's not even saying they're bad women or they're XYZ. It's like they can never be fulfilled. Have you ever been with a woman, man, and it didn't matter what you did, she could never be happy? You can buy her 1 million cars. You can buy her 1 million wedding rings. You can take her on a vacation every 5 minutes. It's always going to be more needed. Always going to be more needed. Let's even talk about our brothers. You can have a woman that cooks for you every day, sexes you every night, sexes you again every single morning. And if a man hasn't conducted the first marriage of man within himself, he's still going to be creeping. You can't stop it. Because until you check that first box, that very lowest nature of having to be fulfilled, that lowest vice is going to always have to be scratched, man. It's going to always have to be scratched, brothers. But I want to say this real quick, man, because I believe it's a way that can assist us in identifying these women, right? These women that are 1% women, or these women that just vibrate there. These women that just don't move in that promiscuous energy, right? I believe they have certain traits. And the reason I say they believe they have, the reason I want to point these two things out is because I just looked at the traits that I identified within myself once I found that part of myself. You know what I'm saying? I say when I found that part of myself, how did I move different? And I'm gonna say this. I believe a woman that walks in that energy, one trait you can look at, brother, is if she's detached. I believe when a person finds that connection, that initial connection within themselves, they instantly become detached from the world. If the woman in your life, or the woman that you have your eyes on, if she's vibrating like the masses, brother, she gonna step out. Soul didn't say it. It's how we're made. If she's still trying to get validation, if she's still trying to get the approval of everybody, if she's still moving in lockstep form with the rest of the world, that means she's vibrating with the rest of the world. And again, I look at these traits because I looked at what changed in me when I changed. As soon as I found that connection, bro, I looked at my old life and I was disgusted. Like I said a few videos ago, man, I was selling stuff. I was getting rid of stuff. I changed my wardrobe to just me. I wasn't trying to impress nobody. I was just me. I detached from the world. I wanted a person to be able to look at me and say, you know what? I don't know who that man is, but he's different than the 99%. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be my own identity. So I'm going to say this. If a woman in your life isn't detached, if she isn't detached in some way, shape, form, or fashion, not saying she can't still do some of the things and wear the, I'm not saying she can't do all that. It's going to be case by case. But if she looks at everybody else and just wants to fit in the crowd, she's stepping, bro. She's stepping out. She's stepping out. If she's still online, and this is a telltale, if she's still online and she's posting body parts and she's still posting to get that masculine validation, she's stepping out. Because I'm gonna tell you this, you can see a woman that doesn't have that. Again, you can see 10 women walk in a room and you can see the women that will respond to you saying, hey, what's going, what's up with the, you looking good, or you fine, or you sexy, you did it, or throwing some game on her, or some women that are completely immune to it. And some women that walk in the energy like, I don't care what you say, what you do, like whether I'm in a relationship or not. I'm in this frame where I don't even move like that, right? So that's one. The second thing you can tell is, and I'll say purpose, even though normally when I say purpose, I'm referring to men. But even looking at myself, when I found that connection with myself, purpose was like on 10, right? And if that's the way you can tell when a man is walking in that thin line, it goes to women as well. But purpose is different. Like for a woman, that purpose may be like her just so connected to a cause. Like a woman will have such a connection to a cause, it's like she's married to it. She's married to the game in that. She's so fulfilled in that. She's so committed to that to the point where the rest of her world is almost obsolete, right? Whether it's some kind of humanity effort, whether it's save the pets of the world, whether it's feed the homeless, whatever it is, she's so connected to this purpose of hers. If she's in a relationship, then her purpose becomes her man. Her purpose becomes her man. This is rare, bro. I remember I was dating this sister, and I made a video about this a long time ago, where I asked the sister, I was trying to see what kind of life she was about, what kind of time she was on. I'm like, well, what's your purpose? Like, why are you here? And she was like, my purpose is you. And the first time she said that, I was like, man, I ain't feeling that. Like, that sound like some whack shit. Like, that sound like you on some other stuff. Like, you out here just to kind of get me for my she said, my purpose is you. It wasn't until probably a year later that I understood what she was saying and how it aligned with the woman that moves in this 1% energy. Right? Her purpose, when I say her purpose is you, meaning all her energy is going towards like lifting her man up, supporting his goals, supporting his vision, because she knows that as he elevates, her life elevates as well, because now they become one. A lot of women won't pour into you like that because all they see is, oh, I ain't gonna pour into that man because all he gonna do is leave and XYZ and get. They lack understanding. They lack understanding. So to wrap this up, brothers, I'm gonna say it again. And I'm gonna say it again because I want you to look at the woman in your life. I want you to look at the woman in your life. If you put 10 women in a room, 9 of them are cheating. 9 of them either have cheated or currently cheating or have their eyes on somebody ready to step out. This is real conversation, man. And it's not a conversation that we should have to spark anger. It's not a conversation to say, yeah, all women are like that. Because all women aren't like that. But I can tell you the far majority are. I can tell you this. If you got 1,000 women following you on IG, over 900 of them are about some side business. Don't shoot the messenger. This is what it is, man. This is what it is, brothers. Y'all have a good one, man.